Hey guys, this is Eve with Scrapbooking with me, and happy Saturday to everyone. We are going to make this card today, and this is my Mother's Day card. Not to me, but I could give it to myself. This is my Mother's Day card to one of my daughters, and then we'll make the other one on camera today. But I don't have my mother with me anymore, so I can't send a Mother's Day card to my mother, but I have a couple of people in my life who I like to refer to as mom, so I'll be sending them some cards too, so I'll probably be making quite a few of these. This card is a lot different than most cards. This is a double bifold, trifold card, gift card, photo album, whatever you want to call it. I will have to come up with a name for it, but I got part of this, part of these instructions off of Pinterest, and then I kind of adapted it to my way of what I wanted. So here we go. Let's open it up. I do have both sides closed with magnets, just simply because they wanted to stick up a little bit, and I didn't like that. But I put this on there just to, it's got a magnet underneath it, but this is how it opens. So lots of places for photos here or whatever. And then it also opens on up. And I know you can't see all of it, but there you go. You've got a place for photos here. I've got a place right here. I got a little pocket where I'll be putting a gift card for my girls in there, and I'll be putting some photos and things in here. I've printed off some photos of their kids, so I'm going to make this kind of like a little gift album with their children's photos in here, some notes. I'm going to put some notes about the photos and what they was doing in the photos particular times. Put them a gift card here, and let this be a Mother's Day gift and their Mother's Day card as well. And then it closes all back up. It is flat, so you could put it in. Now I just put this flower on there, you don't have to do that, but it is flat, so you could put it in one of the bigger envelopes and mail it with no problem at all. I just put a little bit of bling on mine in different areas. Now the back, I didn't do anything to the back, but you could also cover the back with your mats if you wanted to. I didn't figure the back was that important, because I figured what they're going to be doing is looking at the photos. So I'll put two photos here, probably 4x6, and then, you know, I'll put some notes on here, and then in the center I'll probably put a photo of the two. They've each got two children, so I'll probably put a photo of the two children together there, and then slip them their little gift card in here like that. Alright, so let's get started. You can see this is not a real card. That's some of those things that I get in the mail that I never use, so I just keep them for things like this. Now this does it takes a little time. It's not hard at all. It does take a little time, and it takes a little bit of paper, but I think the end result is well worth it. So what you're going to need first is your cardstock. So decide what color cardstock you're going to use for your backing, and I'm going to use this. It's kind of a purpley color on this one. So one of my daughters really loves purple. The other one loves teal. So she'll be getting that one, and the other one will be getting this. Now these are, I took a 12 by 12 piece of paper and I cut it in half. So these are 6 by 12. And if I forget to give you any measurements, I will put them on the screen as I go through. And I'll also have these on my blog, and my blog link is below. So this is 6 by 12. Put it in your scoreboard on the 12-inch side. And you're going to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. Now what I like to do is flip my cardstock over, and I do a light score on the opposite side in those same lines. This helps keep your cardstock from breaking, and it helps keep pattern paper from breaking. It just kind of breaks down those fibers in there, so when you fold that it doesn't crack on you. Okay, so then you're going to take the other piece, same size, 6 by 12, and you're going to score it in the same locations at 2, at 4, 8, and 10, and then flip it over and do that again. And I don't go as hard, but I just do a light score on this side just to kind of break down those fibers in there. Alright, then you're going to have another piece of cardstock. This was a, let me put it back together so you can see. This was a 12 by 12 piece of paper as well. And what I did is I cut it in half. And if you'll cut it like this, you'll save on your cardstock. I cut it in half, and then I took one of the sheets and I cut it at 8 inches. And I did the other one, cut it at 8 inches. So the end result is you have two pieces that are 6 by 8, this one and this one, and you have two pieces that are, looks like 6 by 4, 4 by 6. So you've got those, and that is out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, so that's your second sheet. Now on these, you're going to take the 6 by 8 sheet, and you're going to score it at 2 and at 6. 2 and 6. So that's your 6 by 8 piece. Then your other 6 by 8 piece, you're going to score at 2 and at 6. Okay, so we've got all of that. These you're not going to score, so just leave those intact just like they are. That's all the scoring we're going to do for now. So let's put the scoreboard over there, and let's bring in our cutter. Now what you're going to do on these pieces, your big pieces, this is the 6 by 12, you're going to put it in your cutting machine, your cutter, and you're going to put it at 1 3/4. So 1 3/4. Make sure it's lined up perfectly. You're going to start at that 2-inch score line. Let me move this down so you can see most of it anyway. You're going to start at that 2-inch score line where you made that 2-inch right there. You're going to press the cutter down, and you're going to cut down to the 10-inch score line. So let me show you what we did. I started at that score line right there that was at 2 inches, and then are your first score line, and I cut all the way down to my 10-inch score line, or my last score line. If you want to remember it that way, start at your first one and cut all the way down to your last one. Just slice it at 1, make sure this is 1 3/4. Then just flip it around, put it back in your scoreboard, back in your cutter at 1 3/4, line it up perfectly. Go back to your 2-inch again and cut it down to your 10-inch right there. Okay, so you've got something that looks like this now. Alright, we're going to do the other one the same exact way. We're going to put it in 1 3/4. Make sure it's lined up. We're going to go up to our 2-inch mark, cut down to the 10-inch mark, flip it around, do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so you've got both of those. Put your cutter out of the way, and now you're ready to do some folding. So you're going to accordion fold this. You're going to fold up, and then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it down. Just going to do an accordion fold on these. Make sure you burnish your score lines really, really well. Alright, so when you get finished, you're going to have something that looks like that. It's a little Z. Now you're going to take this center piece, and where this has the mountain fold in it right there, you're going to push that down and make it fold the opposite way. Instead of it being a mountain, you're going to make it a valley. And then this one right here, that's a valley, you're going to flip it up and you're going to make it a mountain so that it looks like that. You see? So all we did was we took that one. Well, I'll show you on the next one. We're going to do the next piece the same way. So let's Z-fold it again, or accordion fold. And burnish those score lines, because that's what's going to make this card lay down nice and flat, is if your score lines are burnished really well. Okay, so we got this. And now where this one is sticking up, we're going to push it down and make it a valley. And where this one is down in the center, whoops, this piece right here is down, we're going to push it up and make it a mountain. So we've got that there again. So that is, just make sure that they're all, you know, you've got a valley, a mountain, a mountain, a valley, a mountain, just like that. All right. Now we're going to, let's go ahead and do these. These are your 6 by 8 sheets. You're going to fold those in opposite directions as well. So you're going to make a Z fold out of those. And if you're just watching this, it does look a little complicated, but when you start putting it together, believe me, it's not. So there you got a Z fold again out of that one. So you have 2 now that have the Z fold. And then you have 2 that have all of these mountains and valleys going on. Right, now what we're going to do is you're going to take these 2, and this tall mountain that's right here, and I call that my tall mountain, the tall mountain that's right here, and I'm going to say mountain because that's what we say here in Alabama. I was trying to be nice and proper and say mountain, but that's just not the way we say it here. We say mountain. But anyway, I'm going to take these that have the highest peak, and I'm going to put them on opposite ends. Okay, so you've got a mirror image here. And then I'm going to take one of these. This is the little piece, that the 4 by 6 piece that you had, and it's going to go right here in the center to hold that together. So I'm going to put some glue down on. I am using my art glitter glue because it dries clear, it dries fast, and it holds really, really well. I do have plenty of this in stock, so if you need any, come over and get it. I do have the fine tips in stock as well. I wouldn't take anything from my fine tip. I love this glue and the fine tip. Now what you're going to do is put this down, and you're going to put it right up to the score line. Don't go past that score line or your card will not fold correctly. Just put it right up to that score line and press it down. Make sure that it's, you know, flush on each end. Then you're going to put it on this one as well. Okay, so just pick it up here again. You're going to put it right up to that score line, but don't go past it. And just make sure that it's flush on either end. Oops, there you go. So you have your center now. And now you've got something that looks like that. So we've got the makings of our card already. Now I'm going to go back, since I've got that center in, and I'm going to burnish all of these down and just make sure that everything looks straight, that all my edges are coming out right. And that is it on that part. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, our 6x8 piece, that is the Z-fold, and we're going to put this right there, just like that. The two that are, this one is pointing down, this one's pointing up, we're going to marry those together, just like that. Okay? So, I like to just kind of flatten it out. I put my glue on this one so I can hold it. And here again, put it right up to your score line, but don't go past. And press it down. Make sure it's flush on either end. There we go. That's that. So now we have that on that side. Now all we need to do is put this one on this side. So here again, this is pointing down. This one is pointing up. So we're going to put those two together. Don't put these two together like this. You're going to have this backward. So put them together just like that. One pointing down and one pointing up. Believe me, I learned the hard way. If you put them together wrong, they don't work. Okay. Make sure I'm doing this correct here. See, I get busy talking and then I forget. Alright, put it right up to the score line, but don't go past. Make sure both the ends are flush. And press it down. So now you have basically your card made. It looks like I'm going to have to adjust a little. Now this is where you can adjust your score lines if you need to. Looks like I got a little bit off, and it's a little harder when you're trying to film and make them because I'm having to hold it a lot further out in front of me than I normally would. But the good part about these is you can do your adjusting right here before you put everything together. Okay, so there's the basic part of our card. Now all we need to do is put our mats on. Now you can, here you can use any kind of paper, any color paper, whatever you want. This is strictly up to you. I'm going to use just some scrap paper that I've had. I told you I've been trying to use up my scraps. So I'm going to use some scrap paper that I have had, in my stash for a while. I like to try to use my scraps when I can, and when I'm making things like this, cards and things, it's a good place to use your scraps. Go to your scraps first before you go pull out something brand new, unless, that's just what you're wanting to do. Alright, on this one, we're going to put this mat down on this part right here. This mat measures, let me find my notes. This mat measures 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and you're going to need 2 of those, one for each side. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this one, and I like to ink mine. One reason, because this is a glitter, this paper has a little bit of glitter in it, and my cutter did not like cutting it. So I've got a little bit of white showing there, and I don't like my white edges. I like to ink because it helps it stand off from the page a little bit. It helps it stand off from the backing, so I like that part. And I just like to ink. I've got lots of ink, so I need to use them. Alright. Again, these are 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And if your paper is directional, like mine is, then make sure that you put the right side up. I try to anyway. Alright. So there's that one. And we'll put this one on. So that leaves you a nice border around the edges. And see how quick that glue grabs? I love it. Okay, now we're going to put our pieces on here, and I'm going to use the same paper as I did here. You can use different colors if you want. Again, that's up to you. I am inking these with Wilted Violet, in case you want to know. This is Tim Holtz ink. Wilted Violet. This is a Tim Holtz little dauber or inking tool. I like these two. Lost my other one there for a minute. I have quite a few projects that people have requested that I'll be trying my best to get up next week. If you have a request for a project that you would like to see done, or that you want me to try, just either leave them in the comments or you can email me, either one. I will try to remember to put my email below. I don't think it's in the description now, but I'll try to remember to put it below. Emailing me is probably a safer way because I do check my emails 2 or 3 times a day, so therefore I would get it and I would have a copy of it. But I have had some requests for some things that, boxes and things that people want to see made, and I'll be getting those up next week, if at all possible, unless something drastic happens. Okay, again, these are, or I don't even know if I told you yet, these are 1 3/4 by 5. So 1 3/4 by 5. And you need one for each of here, and then on the inside you're going to need a few more, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Okay, so that is those. And you see how these kind of stick up? That's why I put a magnet on each side. Now what I also did on this one, I wanted a little bit more decoration here other than just that flat cut off straight piece there. So I used my, this is a Stamp It Up border punch, and I do not remember the name of it, but excuse me, it just looks like lace. So I did cut those, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark. I just used a 12-inch piece, and I did it all down through the whole part. But I'm going to mark where I need to cut, and I'm going to cut this, hopefully, if I can find my mark again. Isn't that nice when you mark something and then can't even find the mark? So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over, and we're going to mark it on the back side with a real pen. And I'm only going to, well, let's see, I'm going to run it all the way down if I can. I hope I'll have enough. If not, we'll punch another one. Okay, so we're going to cut this right there. Let's make sure that we've got enough for the other side. Oh yeah. Alright, now what I want to do on here is, I don't like these little points like this, so I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to round that off so that it'll look more finished on the end. They won't look exactly the same on the end, but they will look a little bit more finished. And you know, if you wanted to keep using lots of paper, you could get away from that. You could cut it until you had a nice finish on the edge, but I don't want to keep using tons of paper, so I just do it this way. See, it works. And now I'm also going to take my ink, my Wilted Violet. I love this color purple. And I'm going to ink it, and on this one, you know, I showed you the other day when you're inking, if you want the ink just right on the edge, you hold your tool directly in line with your paper. But on this one, I want it a little bit up on those little scallops. So I'm holding my tool up, more up to the top. Then I'll go back and I want it darker on the edges, so I'll go back and hit the edges again so that I can make it darker. I'm going to go ahead and ink on these sides. See what I'm saying? See how it's darker on the edges than it is back here? I like that part. Okay. And now we're going to lay it down there and see about where we want to put it. I think right there will be good. So all I'm going to do is run some glue on here. And I'm just going to lay it down. And then I'm going to try my best to get it lined up as best I can. You know me, I'm a little crooked all the time, most of the time. Okay, I think that looks good. Alright, we're going to do this one the same way. We're going to ink it up. That covers up all of those little white pieces that you have on your paper, because this is a single-sided paper, so you have that white core in there. And then it also just helps it look a lot more uniform. Alrighty. Now we're going to put the ink on, we're going to put the glue on here again. And we'll lay it down on the backing and slide it until we think we've got it just about where we need it. Slide it a little bit more. I'm looking at the other side and just kind of lining it up as best I can. There we go. I think that'll work right there. So there you go. That is that part. Isn't that cute? Well, I'm liking the purple. Alright. Now let's open it up and start putting our mats down here. Now this is the part that I'm telling you that takes you the length of time, is putting all your mats down, getting your mats cut and putting those down. This takes longer than just about anything that you do. But like I said, I believe that it's well worth it, because you've got a card, a gift, and a gift card, a gift, and a card all in one. So it's a 3-in-1 gift, and it's something that it'll sit up. I'll show you in a minute how it'll sit up with it open, so that they could sit it on their mantle or on their table or whatever, and have their photos and things displayed. Now I'm using a different paper here, just because, well, mainly just because I had it in the scraps, and it does go with that paper line, and I think it's pretty. It's got hearts on it because I love my daughters. Got the flying hearts on there, and it does have some glitter on there as well. So we'll put those there. Now these are the same size as the front ones, the ones that we did on the front right here. They're 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So there's a lot of the ones that we'll cut, the mats are the same size. That's why you can just go through and cut all your mats at one time, get all that done, and then be ready to put everything down when you get started. So just centering it up and pressing it down. Isn't that pretty? I am in love with these. I think I may have to make a bunch more. I know so many moms I would love to send these to. Okay. Alright, there we go on that one. And now now we're up to these pieces. Now these two pieces again are the same size as these. So they are 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. So they're the same size as these pieces that we cut here. So there again, you can just do multiple cuts. Just get all of your mats cut at one time and be ready to put it all together. And if, you know, if you didn't do all the inking like I do, it wouldn't take you that long. But I love the ink. I think the ink just makes the project. Look, now we're up to these. All right, look, these are separate. So these are cut at, and let me think, these are 1.5 by 1 3/4 is what these little pieces are. And you need quite a few of these. 1.5 by 1 3/4. Let's see. There. And then this one, I believe that this one, and I'm not sure which way I want to do. Thinking I want to do that. These are 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, I do believe. Let me check it to make sure. These are, may help if I use the right end of the ruler. These are 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. That's right. For these right here. Okay, we've got those. And now we're up to these. So you see you've got this one in the center. And I'm going to put this here. And then you've got some more of these little ones. And then you've got a couple more of the bigger ones. So we will get started. I'm just going to lay some of them out. I think I want to put these like this. I'll lay them out to make sure that I have enough cut, and I may not have. If I don't, we'll go back and cut more. Okay, we have the other mats down, and now we're going to put these two that are right here. And these are probably the only ones that are a different size that we've not cut before. These are 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and we're going to put those right there and right there. Now, to make the little pocket that I put right there for the gift card, what we're going to do is take a piece of paper, and let me see. I think I might just use this. And all I did was I just measured from one side of the purple of the matte paper to the other, and then all the way down to the bottom where the score line is. You don't have, doesn't have to be exact. It's just, you know, it's just something to slide a gift card in. It doesn't have to be the exact size that I'm doing. You can make it whatever size you want. You could put just photo corners in there and just make it with photo corners to slide your card in. Doesn't have to be like this. And then what I did is I took my scoreboard. So I cut this, and let me tell you what size it is in case someone asks. I cut this 2 1/2 by 1 5/8 is what size I cut mine. And I'm going to go ahead and ink before I score, just so that I can. Right now, all I did is I put it in my scoreboard, and I actually had there it is. And I came back like 1/8 of an inch on either end, and I put a little score line, because that's all I want to fold it, is about 1/8 of an inch. And I didn't do anything for the bottom because I will show you why. Alright, so I'm going to fold my little 1/8 of an inch over on both sides and burnish those down. You don't want a big fold because you don't want your gift card to get hung up in there, and hopefully that's going to work. Looks like I might have made it a little bit tight. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it'll slide in there. If it won't, we'll have to do it again. Okay, then I just run a little bit of glue right there across the bottom and on that side. And I just put it right down at the bottom of that. So yeah, I made it a little bit short. Make yours a little bit bigger than this. I'm not sure my gift card's going to slide in there. Which, this is not a gift card. I don't even know if gift card's the same size as one of these things or not. Yep, it slides in there. Okay, that's okay. But still, I would make it a little bit wider, and then you wouldn't have to worry about if it's going to be the right size or not. And then you could cut a little decorative thing out of the front there if you wanted to, like I did mine. I cut a little tab out, just use one. Thing does fold back up. Yes, just like that. Now let's put our magnets on there to keep it closed. And I did put one on either side. And yes, I have 2 left, so that'll work. These are the basic gray magnets that we have in the shop. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right there somewhere in the center. And then I'm just going to clip my other one to it, take that backing off, and then press it down. That's going to hold it. I'll do the same thing for the other side. Put it somewhere in the center, right there. Take that backing off, and press that one down. And now to keep this from tearing when you try to open that, I took my little punch that I got this from, I don't know, Stamp It Up a long time ago, and I took that extra piece of paper that we had, and I just punched out a couple of little, I don't know, these are flowers, I suppose, and they're just the right size to go right over the top of that magnet. And I just use some of the glue because it glues to those very well. This just keeps that magnet from being so strong that it tears your lace when you start putting, when you start opening it up. Because those magnets are quite strong. So we don't want it to rip. Plus this gives a little bit of coverage to the magnets. Now you could also put this under the paper if you want to. I just magnets are covered up and then it stays closed. Now for my other part, for this closure part right here, all I did was I took my scallop punch, and I love this thing. I know y'all are seeing me use it on everything. And I punched out one of one color. And let's see what other colors we've got in here. We've got this color. And then I punched out the main one, which is this one. Let's see if I have a scrap of this one left. No. Okay, we'll bite the bullet and cut into this one. Okay. I just cut 3 of those out. And of course, I inked them up. Now, I wanted my scallops to be a little bit offset, but yet to cover that opening. So I did that, and then I put this one at the center, and I don't think I quite went out that far with them. Nope. Okay. I did that like that. So I glued those together like that. So let's glue the bottom 2 together. Let's get them about where we want them and glue those together, just like that. And I just hold them in place and put some glue under there. Do the same on this side. And then I just double check and make sure while the glue's setting that I've got it about where I want it. That looks good. So we'll press that down. And then I took this one and I put this on pop dots because I wanted it to come off the page a little bit. Now you don't have to put this on pop dots. You can leave it flat if you want. If you're afraid that, it won't mail right, or which this is going to have to go in an oversized envelope anyway, so it's going to be a little bit more if you want to mail it, but like I said, I think it's well worth it. And if you have a mom that is still with you, believe me, send her a card. Don't spare no expense, because I would love to have mine still with me so that I could send her a card. Alright, now we're just going to put glue on one side of this, because we just want one side glued down. We don't want to glue it, both of them down, and then not be able to open our book. And try to center it the best you can. Okay, I think that's pretty well centered right there. And then I took a flower and put on this one. You don't have to do that. I think I'm going some Lindy Stamp Gang flat Fabios. And this one is in the color Pop Rock Purple. So we're going to see if that'll work. Oh yeah, I like that. It's kind of a pinky purple. I like that part. And the flat Fabios don't have any shine or glitter to them. So what I did also is I took this, and this is the Kaiser Craft Iridescent Spray Ink with shimmer, because I like a little bit of shimmer on my flowers and things. Just stir them up. And I put a little bit of that in the center of it. And then I just dried it up. When my flour was dry, I took a little bit of hot glue. Oh, I think I need to refill my hot glue. I took a little bit of my hot glue, put that down on the back of my flower, and put it right in the center of that. Pressed it down. And then I just took a little bit of bling and put it around in different areas. And I think I'm going to use some of this. This is like a pale green that's in that. And there you go. That is it. A beautiful card, a beautiful gift, and it will hold photos for your mom. And if your mom is like my mom and you have children, you could not give her a better gift than to make something like this for her and then put her grandchildren's photos in them. That would be the best gift that I could get. That would be absolutely my favorite. And also I was going to show you that these will sit up. And I know you're not going to be able to see this per se because of the angle of the camera, but I will take a picture of this sitting up. But it sits up like that, and you can see all the photos and everything in there. So she could sit this on her table or on the mantle or whatever and be able to see all of those little photos that are in there. This would be absolutely ideal. I would love it. I'd love to get one like this for my Mother's Day present. Okay, that is it, guys. I will put photos of these up, and I'll put all the measurements. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you how many. Let me go ahead and tell you before I go off here how many of each size you need. Mats. Okay, for these mats, this size right here, you're going to need, these are the ones that are 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. You're going to need 5 of those. For these that are 1 3/4 by 5 3/4, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to need 6 of those. And then for the smaller ones, like these right here, the 1 1/2 by 1 3/4, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 and 8, 16. You're going to need 16 of those. And then for this size right here, which is 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, you're going to need 4 of those. For this size right here, which is the 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, you're going to need just 2 of those. And then you can make your pocket, whatever size that you want. That's strictly up to you. But that is it. That is your mats. And then you can do the front cover, as you wish. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you'll give it a try. Get in on our challenge, and we will talk to you guys later. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye-bye.